we listen to one another with an open heart and an open mind. So, just mentally now, open it up, open them heart and mind. And when you're sharing, I would love for you to speak from I, rather than you, the second person, which we tend to do. But when you use the word I, when you own what you're saying, you get empowered. That's where the power is. And and then think about how you're willing to show up today. So are you willing to show up with an open-minded heart? Are you willing to show up ready to hear what God might want you to hear and know what God in you might want you to know and do? All agreement, say aye.
Aye.
Did I hear an aye from those of you out in the ethers? Okay, good. Okay,
Aye.
good. So let's take a look at the study guide here. You online, can you see it? You folks who are online, can you see the study guide okay? Okay. And you all here have a study guide, right?
Right.
Oh, Maria. Don't worry, don't worry. No worries.
Okay, I have what it says, week 1, the way to true power. Is that it?
Say that again?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
How can we print this?
What was that, Jim?
How can we print your study guide? It looks like a
Oh,
screen that
Kathy
I
can
can't.
send it to you.
I'll send it to you, Jim.
Oh, okay.
Okay, great. So let's take a look at resilience up at the top. Darlene, would you read that for all of us?
Resilience is rooted in a tenacity of spirit, a determination to embrace all that makes life worth living, even in the face of overwhelming odds. When we have a clear sense of identity, we are more resilient because we can hold fast to our vision of a better future.
How do you like that?
Yeah.
Any comments on that? I mean, think about it. Resilience is rooted in a tenacity of spirit, not of mind, of spirit, a determination to embrace all that makes life worth living. So we might consider together what we think makes our life worth living. Even in the face of, guess what? Everything that's going on right now in the world, right? To put a focus on what makes our life worth living and do it. And when we have a clear sense of identity, and in our case as unity people, the foundation of that identity is what? Yes, and more. Because why? Because the identity is the thumbprint of God as you, right? So it's definitely love. I mean, that's really, if we would just love, that would be enough. But wisdom too, and power. Because without, and we're going to be talking about all of these gifts that the spark of divinity is in us. That's what this class is about and the book is about. But without the activation of our spiritual power, we can hold back on our love. And without the power of spirit generating our wisdom, we might keep quiet when it would be better to speak out. You hear what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so any comments on that quote from Wisdom Commons about resilience? It's a quiet group. Are you contemplating? Deb, loud and clear, Deborah.
Okay. I am really enjoying the experience of feeling that presence within. And I'm learning, that there's my heart, there's my mind, there's my heart, and there's my soul. And I want to, and that's what I think my things that I want to do. And I love what you said about this spirit of divinity within us, because I want to continue to go to that place, throughout my day, and feel the presence. I think of it as presence. I love to call it God, but feeling that presence, having more of a feeling experience with it, more than a head experience, because I love prayer. And I heard recently someone say to me that, prayer is for us because God already knows. But I want to continue to feel that experience of that presence and doing that meditation and going with, I had a chance to spend some time with my sponsor, who is a unit.
Loud and clear.
I had some chance to spend some time with my sponsor. I'm in AA and all their 12 stuff, and she's a teacher of Joel Goldsmith's Infinite Way. And so I was able to just be in her presence. She's done it for years and years and years and years and years. I feel she's a mystic. I feel it in here because I had an experience just being around her. And we got to meditate together. I remember one more quick thing. My dog was a little hyper. We sat and meditated, and
It's amazing.
Isn't it? It's that spirit. That's all going back to here. Oh, I'm so excited, Reverend Sharon. I love this experience. Yeah.
Thank you, Deborah. Deborah. Oh, now this is zeal right here. This is zeal. Anybody out there in the ethers want to comment? Anything come to you that you want to share? No, not right now. All right then.
I'll share. It's really easy when your life's going well and in order to do all this. What I'm after is to do all this when shit happens.
Yeah.
Which it seems to do in my family.
That's the key, isn't it? When things aren't going right, to not go down the tubes with them.
To have this word, wonderful title, resilience.
Yeah.
Just have that happen, stay right where I know I need to be.
Yeah. The good news about this, and I say it, I think, in the intro, resilience is inherent. We don't have to go out there and do something to get resilient because it's all in here. And how can I say that? How can I say that all the resilience that we would ever want is in here? How can I say that? How can I say that, y'all?
Just say it. You did. I felt, yeah.
I say it because the divine presence indwells every part of our being.
And the human race has proven it. I mean, we've been around a long time.
A long time. How resilient we are.
Yeah.
We've been through a lot of shit.
Yeah.
And made it.
And made
I
it.
just got in trouble with my boss 2 days ago for my math, so forgive me, it's not really any better.
Kathy is apologizing for being
Catholic.
clear. Okay, so another definition of resilience is here too from the dictionary: buoyancy, the power or ability to recover readily from illness, depression, adversity, the ability to recover from or adapt to change or misfortune. Resilience. So we've all had challenges in our lives, right? Is there anyone out there in the ethers who hasn't had a challenge? If so, raise your hand. And then you're going to teach the class. Yeah, so we've all, I mean, think about how our resilience has been in a training program since we were babies. I mean, I'm watching my great grandson learning to hold a bottle. You know what I'm saying? And already he's starting to turn over, just like you and I did way back when. There's something inside of us, the Spirit of God, that's always urging us beyond where we currently are. So wherever we are, there's always more of the presence of God to experience and express, especially when things are tough.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is resilience in nature
Who's it?
as well as in human beings? You know, like cats, dogs,
Oh,
trees.
Kathy, go. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
Oh, I'm sorry. I said, my question is resilience, does it exist in nature as well as human beings?
Yeah.
So like cats, dogs, trees, does that? So it's not just a gift to human beings.
You know what I want you to do, Kath? I want
But,
you to ask your pets.
okay.
Um, I believe they are. You know, I believe it's in all living things, this resilience,
so.
because it's all God, right? It's all some divine idea in the mind of the creative energy of the universe. I see it in the seasons, for example, not so much in Phoenix, but Jim sees it in Minnesota. Kate sees it in, are you in Michigan or Wisconsin, Kate? Kate, where are you?
Michigan.
Michigan. I don't know why I don't remember
Beautiful,
that.
beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, not far from Chicago.
Yay! But we see it in nature, even here in Phoenix, where it's always sunny. I mean, you see flowers blooming and dying and then blooming again. We see trees dying, like, will they ever come back? But by gosh, then they bloom again. There's this resilience everywhere present.
Would you say it's part of the life force that survival, you know, we all want to survive. Yeah, it's innate.
It's innate, yeah.
It's a life force.
So Renee was saying the resilience is the life force in us. Yeah.
Is that what we're here to learn? Is that, you know, so many awful things happen on this earth, and that, you know, I know many people question, why would God let bad things happen? Is that why? So we'll learn the resilience.
Well, yeah, that's always a very good question. Does God, why does God let that happen? Well, God doesn't judge about that stuff, I don't think. But we all are unique expressions of the one God, right? So if we're part of God, then our natural inclination is to survive and overcome. If it hasn't been squelched in some way, if you know, we haven't lost it.
I was going to say, for me, I believe that because we have the God essence in us, we have all of these possibilities, and we have to become aware of them. For me, as a former teacher and counselor in schools for 37 years, I saw many students who, and I work with them, who really didn't have that light energy coming out of them for whatever reasons, okay? And working with them, I wanted to build up that light energy,
Yes.
so that they would become empowered themselves, that whatever they went through, they could overcome or deal with or whatever.
Exactly.
You know, to build up that, help build up that resilience within them.
Well, and isn't that why we're here together?
Mm-hmm.
You know, isn't that the gift that we give one another?
Mm-hmm.
Even scripture says that. If you read, I'm not sure if it's the Ephesians or the Colossians, but you know, Paul writing to the people, our inner coach tells us this.
Mm-hmm.
Says encourage one another and build one another up. That's why we're here for one another. You know, that's part of our purpose in life, I think. Oh, did I give you my disclaimer? Are you ready? Memorize my disclaimer. Take what you like and leave the rest. If it resonates, if it resonates, great. If it doesn't, okay. Are we ready for key ideas?
Yep.
You out there, are you ready for key ideas or did I miss someone's comment? Hey, Betty, there you are. Hi, Betty. Okay, so we're going to move on to key ideas, but Deb, what do you want to share?
I just want to share something
Loud and
real
clear.
quick. My belief is that I believe God gives us free will, and I can either do self-will or I can do God's will. And I love what I heard recently, to lean into spirit and allow its arms to place around you, pulling you forward. And I believe I can do that in anything that's, because it isn't about anything out there. That's all,
Illusion.
no, the word I'm using is, I learned this recently, is hypnotism. That's all hypnotism out there. But if I can remain, centered in that presence and that, and bring that out into the world with all the hypnotism, that's my part. That's what I believe my purpose is.
That's right. Shine the light.
Hypnotism is illusion. Trance. You're being seduced.
Seduced, yeah. Renee says out there in the stuff that's going on,
Illusion.
it's easy to be seduced
Right.
and think, oh yeah, this is the capital T truth.
Yeah.
And it's not. It's a fact.
Right.
They're facts of what's going on, but it's not the capital T truth necessarily. Okay, are we ready for key ideas, kids?
Oh, yeah.
All right. So, Jim, would you read number 1 key idea? Mr. Rasmussen?
Absolutely. Key ideas.
Can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Come a little closer to the mic.
Somebody just started my printer. Key ideas. We are inherently resilient. The great work of our life is to evolve our natural born resilience into its full divine potential.
What do you think about that, Jim?
It looks pretty broad.
That's pretty broad.
Yeah, it does. Like resilience has limitations.
Say that again,
Does
Jim.
resilience have limitations?
Does resilience have limitations? Is that what you said?
Well, it says there to have it evolve into its divine full potential. Like it starts out less than that. I don't agree that it does.
That what does?
Resilience.
Okay, so say it in a sentence again because I missed it.
The great work of our life is to evolve our natural born resilience into its full divine potential.
And you don't agree?
Well, this sort of implies that at some point our resilience is not at its full divine potential, and I don't agree. I think it always is by its very nature.
Do you know the full extent of your divine potential today?
Not my divine potential, my resilience. We're talking
You know
about
the extent of your resilience? No?
Yes. I think resilience is always at its full divine potential.
And how do you know that?
Why would it be less if it's
I'm
divine?
just asking how you know it.
You know, you're seeking into a life of duality here. Resilience doesn't need the duality. It's always there.
Yes, it's always there. And we don't know, I don't know about you, but I don't know the full voluptuous expression of my resilience until I express it. When I have, and I get to express it on
I would say until you experience it.
Yes, exactly.
Not you express it. It's always there.
It's always there. Absolutely always there.
But we have to access it. We can ignore it.
We can deny it. We can ignore it. We cannot realize it.
And
I
we
mean,
cannot develop it. We're
or
all
not-
to develop it.
or not develop it.
I think what I'm hearing, Jim, and you tell me if I'm wrong or right, I'm hearing two different things. That what I'm hearing Jim say is that resilience is at its full potential. But what I think we're discussing is being aware of that
Or,
potential.
yes, that's a good way to, for me, that's a great way to express it.
Thank
That
you.
it's always there in its fullness because of the Spirit of God in us. And our awareness of it becomes more fully expressed as we express it or experience it. So we experience it right now. Anytime we buy into fear about COVID, we have just bypassed our resilience.
Can I make a comment? This is Howard.
Hi, Howard. Yes, please.
I think it says it in the first paragraph. The resilience is always present, but we're overwhelmed by whether it be COVID or forest fires in California or hurricanes in Louisiana or drought here or ice up north. Those negative odds overwhelm us to the point where we focus on them and don't go back and rely on resilience. So I think resilience is there. It's just overwhelmed by the difficulties in life if we let it.
Yeah, if we let it. Yeah. And for some, like I think about the veterans who are coming back with PTSD and drug addicted because they were just way too overwhelmed apparently, to go past it, get past it. Yeah, thanks for that challenge, Jim.
Even with battered women or anything like that.
Say that again?
Even with battered women.
Yes.
And situations like that.
Yes.
Thank you, Howard, and thank you, Darlene, for helping.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Jim. What'd you say? Okay, moving on. Number 2. Who will read number 2 for us and make a comment? Thank you, Kate. Unmute, Kate. There you go.
There I go.
Would you read number 2 and make any comment you want?
The resilience factor is our capacity to move from being a victim to a survivor and then to a thriver. Agreed.
Any comments about that one?
Yes, I think that is Howard. He was a victim and then he was a survivor and now he's a thriver. God bless you, Howard.
Right.
Thank you. Yeah. Who else? Anybody else on that one?
It's
Okay.
Betty. I think it's so important when
Hang on, Betty. Kathy over here is tough. You got to speak loud.
Okay, you see those people who have just been through the worst thing possible and still have radiance and joy, and then you see those people
Who
who've been
sees?
through the worst thing.
Who sees?
You see them all over the world.
Do you?
I see them. I see them everywhere, and it just seems like all of this is a choice, but you need some support along the way. You can't do this alone.
Absolutely.
I'm thinking of my 2- and 3-year-old granddaughters who have been through hell and back, and they're back to thriving. And they blow me away at how much they're thriving, but their mommy supported them through the whole sexual abuse mess. And so, confidentiality, please, everyone.
Yes.
But you just see their resilience because their mom believed them and their mom wouldn't have. So there's my question.
Right.
Here's a 2- and 3-year-old who had some horrendous things happen, who are thriving, but they have the support. What if they wouldn't have?
Right. Right. I don't know if you all.
Our friends. Mhm.
I don't, yeah, thanks, Kathy. I don't know if you all heard Kathy. She's
Can't
sitting,
hear her.
can't hear online.
No,
What can we do?
She needs to talk louder or get it put on speaker. Oh. Yeah, 'cause Kathy said-
Is there any way that we can get a microphone, Maggie?
Talk louder.
Or does that have an extension cord? We can move-
You
Yeah,
can
that's
paraphrase.
in, I gather, huh?
I can pull it back a little bit further. I got a little bit more room there.
She's loud enough. It's like an echo in the room.
Yeah.
So
Okay. So Kathy was, is it okay if I kind of share?
You go, girl.
Kathy was talking about her granddaughters, 3 and 4, 2 and 3.
It was when they were 1 and 2.
When they were 1 and 2, they were sexually abused, and how their mother has risen to an extraordinary way of supporting them. So today they are thriving. The resilience in them was kept alive and well by the support of their mother. So we were just saying how important it is for us to be there for one another and to support one another in as we meet the challenges in life.
And my worry is for those folks who don't have that support.
Yeah,
Those kids who had the mommy say, oh, no, that didn't happen.
yeah.
And, you know, is that luck of the draw? They got a good mommy? Is it luck of the draw they had a crappy grandfather? I mean, you know.
You can't, I don't know that question is answerable, except to say,
It is what it is.
well, to say my job is to support the people in my life.
My job is to make sure they thrive.
Yes. Betty, you were going to say something. Please say it.
yes, with regard to being a victim, that's why it's so important in Unity and New Thought. We know we have a choice. And if we sit there constantly thinking that we are the victim, we never get out of the situation that we're in. When my husband, first husband many years ago, left me with 2 pre-teenage kids, it was quite a shock. And at that time, the song, I Will Survive, I walked all around the house, Gloria Gaynor, I think it was, singing I Will Survive. And the incident there caused me to go back to college and get my nursing degree and get on with my life. And 5 years later, I think I've mentioned before, he happened to tell me leaving me was the worst mistake he ever made in his life. But by then I had gotten a nursing degree and had met somebody else and was moving on, not only a survivor, but a thriver. But you have to direct your mind right from the very beginning that you're not going to be the victim in the situation and move on with your life.
Yeah, thank you, Beth.
But I also believe that without the challenges we go through, we don't realize that we have that resilience.
Right,
And that builds it up too.
right.
Did you in the Bible, it says something about, you will know it, I won't. I give you the challenges so that you can have this chance to grow and learn.
It's, I think it might be, if we were to look at Philippians, there's something like that. I think it's in the second paragraph there, or it might be James actually, talking about let the challenges build your endurance and let endurance build your faith, and yeah.
And be thankful for them.
And be thankful for them, yes. Deborah, loud and clear.
Okay, I was thinking about, from my trauma that I experienced from childhood growing up and through my life, I got stuck in that victim thinking and blaming and resentment and all that stuff, and just corroded stuff. And so it wasn't until I laid down addictions when I'm alcohol did I do the work. Now I had to do the work because I can't do this. I had to do the work and invite God into that process to get me free, because it was ingrained in there big time. And it took me a lot of 4 steps, a lot of victim martyr posture, and giving it to God to remove, so I could get free. free of that, so I'm not going to, so I can get connected back in that grace that would keep me, that only that loving grace kept me away from that mental obsession that led me to the addictions. So in doing that work, I was able to get free so I could help other people to get free. You know, and that's how it all and continues to unravel and unfold for me. So, yay
Thank
for
you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anyone else out there want to comment?
Up there.
Huh?
Up there.
Okay, I'm not seeing anyone.
He said out there.
No, I heard up there, you know, like, because they're all up there.
They're up there, yeah. Okay, we're on number 3, key ideas. Anyone up to reading and commenting on that?
I can read. There are universal spiritual principles that form a foundation for maximizing our spiritual potential. They are keys to life mastery.
Who knows what those are?
Are they the 12?
Wisdom, love, power.
Oh, I was thinking more of our 5 basic teachings.
Oh,
Prayer.
Prayer
Positive thinking.
and meditation. Where's that, Miss Joe Kennedy? Joe Kennedy.
Affirmations, denials,
Yes. Joe,
meditation.
what are the 5 basic principles, Joe?
She's saying you.
No comment? Oh, Kathy, what are the 5 basic principles?
There's only one power and one presence, and that
Active
power
in the,
and that's that spark of divinity is in each of us.
yes.
And so I'm missing something. I'm missing number 3.
I
Our
bet
tools
Jim
are,
knows what they are.
okay.
James, Mr. Rasmussen, are you there? Jim, where are you, Jim?
Presence and a power within me. It's all knowing, all loving, all caring, and all powerful.
Yeah, and what's the 3rd basic teaching or basic principle, Jim?
Don't know.
Okay. When I say it, I know you'll know. It's the creative law. Thoughts held in mind
great.
Produce
produce
after their kind.
kind. So what I'm inviting us to consider is that unity is not the only one that teaches this, right? Scientists have, proved it over and over again that thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. What we think about creates our reality. Not everyone would agree with this, but many do, including, other faith traditions, and that is that there's only one presence and one power active in the universe, and we want to claim it in our lives. No matter what it looks like out there. Jim was talking about duality before. So duality is saying there's something evil out there. But we're saying there's only one presence and one power in the universe. It's how we learn to work with that power. And that's the 3rd basic principle. Thoughts that we hold in our mind produce after their kind. And then someone was referring to the tools before, number 4, which is the way we develop those truths that the divine is in us and there's only one presence, and the creative law is to take dominion of our thinking. And we take dominion through the power of our denial, our no, and our yes. No, I'm not going to continue thinking that. Yes, I want to feed that kind of thought. Yes, I want to feed thoughts of kindness, compassion. Any comments or questions there? Oh, and the fifth one is, I was talking about this on Sunday, remember? The fifth one is, it don't mean to think if it ain't got that ring.
I love that. That's good.
These principles are all great, but they don't mean anything to us unless we're practicing them.
So, Reverend Sharon, you took this from the 12 Powers of Man. You wrote your book, correct?
Yes,
Oh, okay, because there's a list in here in this little brochure, which
I know
is it-
there is.
Oh, okay, of course you know, okay, but it's interesting.
Who's that speaking?
Susan,
Oh, Susie. Yes, yeah, and what I say in the first chapter, I think it is that those are foundational principles in unity, the ones we were just talking about,
Mhm.
are a way to maximize these 12 powers. In other words, we maximize them through number one, believing in them, practicing them, holding them in thoughts.
Mhm. Good, thank you.
Okay, so let's go. Are we ready for the questions?
Let's read it.
Okay, number one. What does it mean to you to realize and experience that you are inherently resilient?
This is Kathy. This too shall pass. I know that no matter how dark things get or scary things get, that it'll pass. And I think that that's an example of resilience.
It certainly is, and you know from where you speak, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Who else? What does it mean to you to realize and experience that you are inherently resilient? Yes.
To know that it ain't nothing but a thing.
Yeah, Darlene says to know that it ain't nothing but a thing, a thing. Who else?
Makes me feel very powerful.
Yes, Linda says it makes her feel very powerful to know that she's inherently resilient.
It gives hope.
It gives hope.
Yes.
Yes.
Because you can't predict what's gonna happen. You can just predict or hope how you'll handle it.
Right.
Yes. Who else? Anybody else on number one? Okay. All right. Maria, what? You've got that look on your face.
No, for me, resilience is just being able to listen to people and then decide for yourself that this is not for you or for you,
Not for me or?
not for me, and move forward with it.
Yes. Did you all hear Maria?
You're gonna repeat the same word. Okay, maybe I'll have to change it a little bit. Let me give you an example.
Great.
When I was in my late 30s, back then, women to buy a home, it was tough, and let alone a single woman with children. So when I decided to purchase my home, there were a lot of people that were against it. So they were kind of like talking me out of it. But that didn't happen.
You didn't buy into it.
No, my resilience was, this is what I would like to have for me and my children. And I went along with that thought. And scared, yes. But I fought the fear. I trusted in that power in me that told me, go for it, you'll be fine. And I did, and I moved on.
Great. Great example. So I hope you all heard Marie. She's talking about there was a day in her 30s when she was a single mom, I gather, and wanted a home. And people were trying to talk her out of it, saying it wasn't a good idea. But it was something that she deeply desired. And so the resilience in her got her past all that negative, now you shouldn't do that stuff, and into buying the home that she wanted. Great example. Any other comments before we go to question 2?
One more.
Deborah?
I just want to say, knowing,
Loud.
the knowing that divine order is always in my life. That's key to my
Knowing that divine order is always in your life. What does that mean?
means that everything is unfolding the way it needs to. I need to keep myself out of the way.
Okay. Thank you. Let's go to question 2 then. How would you describe your own resilience and share an example? How would you describe your own resilience and share an example?
This is Howard. Can I share one? Did you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
When I started on this odyssey that I went on way back in October, I went to my primary physician. I got a PA.
Don't tell them.
And they told me I had pneumonia. So after 4 months of me going back every month, and they changed the medication from antibiotics to inhalers and so forth, insisting that I was being unreasonable and not patient, that I had pneumonia, I finally said, time to get some other opinion. I went to a pulmonologist. He said I ought to go see my cardiologist because my lungs were fine. I didn't have pneumonia. I went to the cardiologist. He told me I had the bad mitral valve. Well, after I went through the surgery, I went back to my primary care physician, same PA. She said, "You've got pneumonia." I said, "I don't have pneumonia." She got all upset and angry and stormed out, told the nurse, "I can't deal with him anymore. You take care of him." So I went to my pulmonologist and I said, "My primary care physician says I have pneumonia." He says, "Howard, you don't have pneumonia. You've got fluid on your lungs from the operation. We got to drain those." So speaking of resilience, and yeah, you got to let God take over, but he gave you the intellect to sort through all that and be persistent. Or man, if you depend upon somebody else in this life, you may be disappointed.
Very good example, awesome example. And so not only did you pursue and not get stopped by someone else's opinion that didn't fit, but you just went through surgery and you're recovering in an amazing way, right, Howard? Howard.
Well, yeah, I guess, yes, I guess so. I mean, I'm recovering. I mean, I put it up to God's hands and he's doing pretty good with it.
Yeah, no, you're looking great. You sound great. I know, Kathy, we need to make them louder. It's not loud enough in here. Thank you. Yeah, Darlene?
You could do that to all the ground on the floor.
Darlene, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say before I even knew the word resilience, and I'll use the word that Billy uses, my husband, my first husband, was very verbally and psychologically abusive to the point that, well, I got to the point that I was either going to kill him or kill myself. And with all the things that I went through, and I didn't know who was in charge at that time, and I think God was in charge. He had other things for me to do. I was able to finally say, I'm just not going to take this anymore. And then after that, I completed college, I got into education, and because of some of the things I went through, I think I was very successful in working with kids who
Right.
had certain problems.
Right.
So I think that was the resilience. I had that inner knowingness, but I didn't have a name for it.
Exactly. Exactly. And you discover it through overcoming, right?
Yeah.
Through demonstrating the
Mhm.
resilience.
Yeah.
I think about the one of the promises in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, which says, we will no longer wish to shut the door on the past, but we'll see how our experience can benefit others, which is kind of what we've been saying here. How can we support one another, right? I'd love to hear from some others on what would you describe or share an example of your own resilience?
I can share one. I've been fired twice for teaching children the way I believe needed to be done. And very heartbreaking both times, but went out and, at 47, got yet another job and couldn't move from our home because we're in payments and kids in college. And, I kept teaching the way I believed was right. And then this consulting company wanted me to go around the country and share how I've been teaching all those years that I've been fired for. And so, and that's what I'm in trouble with for my mouth, but they can help grow me into a better person. But that was resilience that I just wouldn't, I would try to teach differently.
Don't look at that, look at the speaker so we can hear you.
If I look at the speaker, it works.
If you have to look at the speaker and project, talk to the speaker.
Okay. Hello, speaker.
There.
I've been fired twice and I kept teaching the way I did anyway because I believed it was right and ran into a group that does that.
Yeah.
Everybody, look at your speaker and project.
Pretend I'm talking to the superintendent.
Thanks, Kat. We got some technological expertise here. But Kathy was saying that she was fired twice from a teaching job, and for the way she was teaching and believing that was most helpful to children, and kept her belief, kept coming back, and a consultant then hired her to teach the very thing in the same way that she was fired for around the country. Good job.
Thanks somebody, because that was one of those things that I don't know how that even happened.
Yeah.
But I
God,
just kept teaching kids the way I believed was right, and it didn't always pass the test.
yeah. Thank you. Who else? Thanks, Kath. Who else with an example? Where are you going, Howard? Anyone else with an example? Eileen?
I was going to answer the next one.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's go to the next one then.
Okay,
Before we do, can I mention something? I'm sorry, Arlene, for breaking in, but I don't know if you noticed Reverend Alva's joined us too.
Who?
Alva,
Oh, Alva.
yeah. I just wanted you to see that he was there. He's down at the bottom, so you can pick on him too.
Hi, Alva. Who's now? There's someone else. Is that? Okay. Hi, Alva. I haven't heard from Nancy Nixon. Nancy, do you want to say anything about your resilience as an example?
Not really at this time,
Okay.
but I'm not sure how long this is supposed to last, but I'm going to have to leave.
Okay. We usually go till noon.
Pardon me?
The class goes from 10:30 till noon. Sometimes we
Until noon. Okay. Okay. And you're going to email email the study guides. Is that right? To all the participants. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay. Bye-bye.
All right. Let's go. Yeah, go ahead, Nancy. No? Oh, she said bye. Let's go to Eileen and number 3, Eileen.
Who is a model of resilience for you and why? I was going to say that Judy is a model of that for me because when she was younger, she lost her first husband. And she was without him for a long time and had 3 young children that she was trying to raise. And she has been amazing, even though she got married again and that husband helped her. She left that husband and came out to Arizona by herself. She started her spiritual journey. She went to all kinds of seminars and stuff by herself and used all of those as examples for her to live a better life and to be the example for the others that has been. And she's not a victim at all with anything. She just goes about her life and her artwork and everything that she does every day with zeal, and she's just an amazing woman.
Oh, thank you. Thanks. Good job, Judy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Who else? A model of resilience and why?
Hi, it's Kathy.
Kathy.
You and Mac are models of resilience, and you guys just amaze me. I mean, you came to Phoenix and started getting all kinds of crazy things happening to you. Your leg and just crazy things, but you just, you know, you're like, okay, I'll just keep on going. And Mac's knee might be hurting so bad, but she still plays pickleball. I'm amazed at how you guys can just push through the physical problems, and I'm sure it's a problem for you inside. I mean, it must hurt, but you don't show any of it.
Thank you, Kath. Thank you. Who else? Examples of resilience and why?
I've got one.
Great, Kate.
Kate's here. It's my husband, Rick. He's always been a positive, resilient man. And through all of this, he's been diagnosed with a cancer that can't be cured. And it required bone marrow transplants and lots of long recoveries and you name it for the last 8 years. And we've just been presented with another challenge, but he, you know, does what he needs to do. And he takes his own personal responsibility for eating properly and exercising daily. And he always remains positive and resilient. And I just admire that. So.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing. What a great model, huh? For all of us.
Absolutely. Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Who else? Really, huh? Deborah?
I'm gonna have to say a couple.
Loud?
I don't think there's just like one person. For me, it's like seeing, first of all, just recently, it's my sponsor, but seeing, I think one of the big things is how I get to see people come in to a 12-step program and the way they are when they first come in, and then what happens when they actually are working that, you know, living that way of life, and seeing them and hearing their lives, and it's amazing. It's just truly, truly, you know, the loving grace. Watching people and loving grace.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Thank you. So we can all, think for a moment of people in your life that have demonstrated this incredible resilience, you know, coming back from something very difficult. I mean, I just have all kinds of names going through my mind, including some people in our church. And so I think for me, it's important to have those models so that we all have our hope and optimism. If so-and-so can do it, I can do it. So Jesus said the same thing, right? You know, the things that I'm doing, you can do too, and greater still. Anybody else on number 3? If not, I'm going to 4. 4. Going.
Wait. I just want to say, my husband, of course, is my model, but through all of what he went through with, he left out a whole bunch of it. He never complained. He never said, oh, why me? It hurts. He just didn't. My daughter noticed that. Said, through everything, he never once complained about it. So that was
Pretty
amazing.
amazing. Pretty amazing.
I know. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. What
You
would what,
everyone.
Susie?
And thank everyone for all your prayers. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome. Prayer works. I'm gonna share before we go to 4. I want to share something about Jody, Eileen. Jody is on her way to Florida right now, but Jody has come here to church a couple of times and has tuned into class, right, Eileen, from time to time. I know her, I remember her, or I met her at the church in Carlsbad, and here she is living right here. At any rate, her granddaughter was killed in an automobile accident. And I mean, can you imagine? And when I spoke with Jody yesterday about it, she was certainly devastated and brokenhearted, but the strength in her, the truth that she's been studying for a very long time, and this is what our co-founder Charles Fillmore said. He says, the truth, all the efforts that you and I make spiritually, we can't, how did he put it? Can't remember all of it, I'll just do my best here. Will come to us to our aid in our time of need, so that no effort we ever make is ever wasted, but will come to support us in our time of need, which is what Jody's demonstrating. You know, in this time of need, all she thinks about is how she's going to be a light for her family when she gets to Florida, and how she trusts that God is in this too somehow. So I think, I guess what I just want to say is, number one, no spiritual effort that we ever make is ever wasted. You know, every positive thought we ever think, every positive thing we ever do, every class we take, every book we read that's spiritually founded supports us, not only on a daily basis, but in our time of need. We find that we don't flounder and lose it. So take a deep breath, everybody. I'm so grateful for you all being here and sharing so richly. Number 4, though, let's take a peek here. Number 4. What would a radiant life look like to you?
I have an example for that one, and I'll do it right this time.
Oh, good.
In Colorado, there was a 18-year-old girl who graduated from high school, valedictorian, and she was on her way home from celebration for that when a drunk driver hit and killed her. And her father, a local minister, was following and saw it all happen. And he walked right up to the drunk man and said, I forgive you. And that, to me, is a radiant life.
Yes.
That second.
Yes.
There, did y'all hear that?
No.
No.
Boy, she was speaking right into the mic, too. Oh, my gosh, Kath. Well, Kathy was sharing that a senior in high school that she knows graduated valedictorian and was driving home from the celebration of the graduation, I guess, right? And her minister dad was following her in the car. And this young lady was hit and killed by a drunk driver. And the father saw it all happen and got out of the car and went up to the drunk driver and said, I forgive you. And so Kathy said for her, that's what a radiant life looks like. Yeah, kind of stunning. Anyone else want to comment on number 4 or any of them?
I was just going to follow up with what you said about Jody, because when I was reading the paper that I got when I bought the book for class, I thought of her as well, because I had talked to her on the phone right after her granddaughter died. And she was just so positive. And of course, she's the reason why I started to go to Unity anyway, when I went to visit her and met you in California. And I just really love who she is, that she follows her path no matter what happens. She's on that path and she expresses that, and just is such a light to me and to all her friends and her family. So I just love her for that.
I know. Thanks, Eileen. Anyone else want to comment on anything that we have brought into the arena of this class today?
The person at the top.
Is that Sig? Sig, were you going to say something? Unmute, Siggy.
I was going to say, if you want examples of radiant life, all you have to do is look at each and every one of us.
Oh, thanks, Sig. Great. Thank
This is
you.
Judy.
Kate?
Loud.
Sharon?
Yes.
Loud.
Oh, okay. Speaking of radiance, I have 3 siblings, and they're all more or less my age, which is 89. They're all younger than me. Anyway, they, even like 6 or 7 months ago, when I would talk with each of them, I think back about their energies at that time. And I decided that I really needed to pray for them and to ask God to bring to them whatever they needed for their progression, and to bring them out of their what would be doldrums. And I couldn't believe, just in the past week, when I have talked with each one of them over the last couple of days, just how their attitudes have changed, all 3 of them.
Wow.
And, I don't know how that actually works. And I don't really, I mean, I don't know that you can put any words on it. I just know that it works. Prayer and meditation works.
Great. Thank you for that example, like a miracle, right?
Yes, yes.
You all got that, right? How her siblings' attitude has changed. Praying for them, yeah. I mean, as I was saying earlier, no effort is ever wasted, and all of our thoughts have energy that reflects the quality of the thought. And our thought energy goes out from us to do what it is. And so every positive thought we have of other people, every prayer we say, like Judy said, that God gives them whatever they need, is a contribution to them. So
I loved it that I became aware of how that was happening.
Yeah.
In my meditations, whatever.
Yeah, because what was the impact on you, Judy?
Yes. And it was like talking with all 3 of them at the same, within a couple of days. It was just in my face that just absolutely works.
Thank you so much. Let's take a look at the practices. Kath, can you pull that up a little bit? Kathy, are you there?
No.
She's probably coming in here. Can I pull it up? Oh, okay, great. There we go. Thank you, Techie Whiz. Okay, number one, as a practice for the next week, each day affirm. I mean, if you're up for it, just some ideas here. I am a radiant light of God, blessing myself and others. I am a radiant light of God, blessing myself and others. I started saying an affirmation in my morning meditations the last few weeks. Let's see, I say, I'm a radiating center of divine light and love, blessing myself and others. I added that. I like 3 affirmations that I say, so that's one of them. The second one is practice with attention and intention, the 4 tools of transformation. So it's just, it's an awareness. I mean, that's what I found for myself, that Unity teaches, and it's Unity that taught me way back when, that we have an observer self. That we have thoughts, but we're not our thoughts, right? We have emotions, we're way more than our emotions. We have a body and we're more than our body. And we have that, whatever that is, it's our observer self, or let's say the divine spark, that can observe our thoughts and make a new choice, as the Course in Miracles says. We can always make a new choice if we're aware, So the suggestion for this week especially is to be fully aware as possible of our thoughts, and say no to the ones that are going to enhance our lives, and yes to the ones that do, or enhance our relationships, enhance our sense of vitality. So, any comments before we close with prayer? Anyone out there want to say anything?
I just want to say one thing, and that is that I'm absolutely loving your book, Sharon. It's just so well written and so easy to read and easy to follow, and your suggestions and everything are just really helping me a lot. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, are we ready to close with prayer? Okay, I have a couple of chaplains in the house. Would any of them want to close with prayer? I thought you were going to volunteer, Kate. Good, thank you, Kate.
Got a short little something. Okay. Let's close our eyes and just take a deep breath. We pray with gratitude for Reverend Sharon and all of her knowledge and the willingness to share it with all of us. And we thank you, sweet Spirit, for this time of discussion and shared ideas and fellowship. As we begin to apply these ideas in the weeks to come, our hope is that they will serve as pathways to renew our hearts and to allow for greater personal growth. With grateful hearts, we pray that we will be renewed, inspired, and transformed. Remembering that we are radiant lights of God, blessing ourselves and others. Thank you, sweet Spirit. Thank you. Amen.
It gave me chills, Kate. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week.
Kathy, are you going to send this guide to everybody email? Will it be each week or will it be one complete? I can't hear you. There.
I'll send it out with the reminder after the recording gets uploaded and I send out the recording of the class, I'll include in that email.
Otherwise,
but I'm also sending it to you with your book.
That's what I was going to suggest.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. Love you.